This time I will just like give the stage to our speakers to kind of introduce themselves as well as their company. So maybe we can start off with alphabetically order. So Agnes.
Hi. Hi everyone, pleasure to be here. I'm Agnes. I'm the co-founder and CEO of GliaCloud. And our company is an AI technology company that aims to empower digital media and marketers to generate video, all kinds of videos at ease and at scale. Thank you. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Charlene, and I'm the global strategy lead of FunNow. Just a quick question, have anyone heard of FunNow before? You used FunNow before? That's good, yay. Okay, so FunNow is the booking platform. I would say like you can book any restaurants, hotels, even motels. So like for the girls, if you like to do your hairs, eyebrows, eyelashes, you can just turn on the app and then choose what service you want and book right away without calling the merchants. So it's a really convenient booking app for you to try out later. And further, I will introduce more later if you are interested. Yeah.
Hi. It's okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm American, so I'm loud. I can echo. My name is Nicole Young. I am the Chief Strategy Officer at CreatorDB. We do influencer marketing, so really setting up brands with creators so that they can get the brand can get their product in front of people, but also influencers and YouTubers and people on TikTok and everywhere else can get paid. So it's definitely growing, as you guys probably know much better than I do. I'm sure there's some influencers in the audience. So we marry influencers with brands and then kind of have our hands in a lot of database stuff as well.
Thank you, Nicole, for the I guess so we actually have like three of the amazing companies today. With Agnes, like GliaCloud, just turning text into videos, and FunNow is allowing you guys to just book any appointment, maybe from glamping or beauty, using FunNow. It could be on the website or app, and CreatorDB. You guys can just be like. Does anyone here is a creator? Doing YouTube or TikTok or not yet? No, not yet. Okay. Yeah. So basically, CreatorDB helps you connect with businesses and get paid for what you do. So that's it. Today, so the first batch of questions that I want to ask our speakers will be about company culture, just to give them an idea about how to work with the environment and working with the companies. So first question would be like, how would you describe your company's culture and how important is company culture to you guys? So maybe you can have focus.
Yeah, so obviously influencer marketing, you guys are all on social media, I think is a very fun and exciting, chaotic, most of the time environment. So our culture is definitely very professional, but also very fun. So we definitely try to blend that. When we come to work every day, it's heads at desk, really making deals, but it's also having fun. And I think that's not just in our company, but fundamentally you have to enjoy your job at the end of the day. So we definitely try to, like this Friday, we're having a Switch Smash Brothers tournament. Everyone in the office, there's 20 people will play together. So we do things like that to keep the kind of the hard work, play hard atmosphere. So yeah, definitely, I think it's extremely important for us, especially as we continue to grow, to move from 9 to 20 people, to keep that really close community and openness.
Work hard as usual.
Work hard, play hard. Yes.
Sorry for interrupting.
Okay, then thank you, Nicole. I love your meeting.
Okay, so I think you guys can tell from our company name already. We call FunNow, right? So everyone in our company is like having fun all the time. So we are around 100 people company. Besides the location in Taiwan, we also have offices in Japan, Malaysia, and Hong Kong. At the end of this year, we are expanding to Bangkok, Thailand as well. So we are a booking platform, and as I just mentioned, we have so many different categories like restaurants and massage and glamping, as a big mentioned just now. So our culture is like we always have fun things all the time. Like last month we had this like hot pot festival, and we gathered 100 hot pot places in Taiwan and encourage people to eat and move. And this month we even have massage festival. So to the woman in 30s like me, like I always have to go to massage every week. So it's like really benefit to all the employees in FunNow because we always have these like fun points that the company will give to us to experience all the that services in FunNow. And we do like other startup companies, we always have like the beers or like whatever like fun things to do. And then we are expecting a beer pong table in the coming month. So then we can have like team building activities as well. So yeah, so our culture is just like flexible and fun, and that's it.
Charlie, what about Agnes?
Yeah, sorry, our company is not that fun. Like, we are boring and we are serious. And we are a 30 people team and everyone is very nerdy and serious about what we're doing. So everyone, even whose background is not engineer, need to understand like how the machine works. Because basically this is AI company does, right? And then, but there's also cool things we work in GliaCloud that where we can be part of a team to build the future. That where we want to use the technology and empower the whole industry, like lower their entry barrier for video creation platform. And right now we work closely with clients from all over the world. Right now, mainly from Southeast Asia, but we do hoping that we will have more presence from other countries. So we also work closely with partners from Ukraine, Ukraine and Israel, France, and probably, like everywhere from the world right now. So we are in terms of the company culture, I would say it's pretty cliche, but we do believe dream big and go global. So everyone joining GliaCloud, we need to have the mindset, like we are going to build a cool product that serves everyone in the world.
Thank you, Agnes. So my next question will be touching upon like every time like a startup is growing, you welcome new employees to join your company. Is there any kind of like initiative that you are regularly doing to ensure that this culture is passed down to the new employees? So
Yeah, so everyone can remember my microphone. I think, like I said, we just grew from 9 people to 21 in 3 months. So that is hard to kind of maintain your small camaraderie. So for us, it's really just letting the new hires constantly from day one, instilling the culture, like having fun. My brain shuts off at 4:30, but we work till 6. So usually at 4:30, I start singing, which I have no singing voice, but I turn on music and I kind of shimmy around the office. And so people really get like, hey, we're all working hard, but we're playing hard too. So that is just kind of every day. And I think for us, we definitely have meetings about culture. We don't want to be like too male or too female or too Taiwanese or too American driven. So those kind of conversations are constantly coming up, and we really do try to have a balance. As you guys know, engineering is a lot of men, so it's important for us to hire women in our engineering department and just really have that. New business is also men, we have women in that, and then the agency side is mostly women, and we've hired a lot of men in that department. So I think those things we really make sure that it's cohesive and culturally, like I said, we're also 21 people that speak 9 native languages, so it's just kind of, you just go with it and pivot as you grow. I think it's the most important thing is I'm sure you guys can attest when you're growing is to keep pivoting and reevaluating and seeing what's working and what's not.
Thank you, Nicole. Actually, it's more about, practicing the culture instead of just saying this is our culture, like what they see, like the new employees, what they see is what they capture for their value.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I like the class clown of my office, and I have the second highest title, so, and often come to work in my pajamas, so, in Taiwan, I think it's very cool, so I roll in sweatpants, every day in the wintertime, so just having that culture where you know it's like, hey, we're here to work, and we're really, really hard, and we're accomplishing big goals and going global. To Agnes' point, that's really big, go global, but also just, keeping it very real.
Thank you, Nicole. Shelley?
Okay, so in our company, every week we will have all this like weekly voice letter from different departments so that we can catch up with what other teams are doing. And in a monthly basis, we have these like semi-meetings, so we can get to talk with all other subsidiary countries like Japan and Hong Kong, Malaysia, and exchange what's really going on, and let the headquarters know how we can help. And in a quarter basis, we also have these like CEO leaders, like maybe he will have a big announcement to everyone and tell people like, okay, what's the achievement in the last quarter and what we can improve in the next quarter. So everyone kind of like through all these formations that we can get in touch with or catch up with all these changes, improvements of the company. Yeah.
So regular meeting is very, very important as well.
Yeah.
So everyone in GliaCloud, they can actually feel our culture in their daily life. Otherwise, like for example, so if they don't really feel the culture in their daily life, I think they will probably think working in GliaCloud will be a disaster. Like if you don't really embrace what we believe, so life is a bit more, I would say a little bit stressed here because every day, like we need to deal with the latest technology and also we need to mitigate the breach between, like for example, we are using AI to help those who don't have appropriate budgets or expertise to making videos. And it's very challenging like, when the AI need to come to the earth. So, so the culture is to build something innovative, but you have to make a lot of efforts to achieve it. So we don't have specific activity to tell everyone, okay, this is our culture, but more we have showcase every week, like from different departments. So for example, the AI team will show their latest progress and maybe everyone in the team can try out like, okay, how to do the face swap in the screen or how to do the avatar motion like motion adaptation in the video creation process. So this is more, so the culture thing is for us, is more like naturally blending in our daily work rather than there's a specific activity.
I was just gonna say, I think Agnes said something really important, is to embrace the culture, and also when you guys are looking for a job, you might not like the culture of a certain company, and you might not know that, you'll probably get the feeling after you go for an interview, and it's okay to say like, this is not for me, like, I actually want to work at FunNow with their beer pong table, but that might not be your jam, so like, it's okay to say when you're starting off, like, that's not for me, this is for me, and hold out for something that really is a fit for you, because to Agnes's point.
Yeah, find your calling. Like for as an interviewer, we never lie to the candidate. So there's no need to disguise yourself. If you just don't feel that you're a fit and that you just choose whatever you like.
Yeah, so don't take the first job just because you feel like, oh my God, I need that job. Make sure it's a fit, because you're gonna be there a lot and you wanna make sure that that feels like a second home. And probably sometimes with our hours, it's really your first home, so make sure that it's solid.
Thank you for the sharing. Actually, the second batch of questions I want to ask would be more about ideal talent. For you guys, like, what is your ideal talent? And what do you think is the common trait or characteristics of everyone, like all the employees in your company, that they possess? Do you have things?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned earlier, so everyone in the company embrace the same vision. So naturally, our team members do share some common traits, such as open-minded, this is essential, like if you want to build something innovative. And also, keen to learn, that's another trait that we care about, because the technology, they're really evolving. There's not a fixed thing that, okay, you pick up and then you learn. You need to constantly learn new things. That's the norm to work in an AI company or any company that who want to build innovative products. So keen to learn, that will be one thing. And self-discipline, that of course we can emphasize, okay, so in our company, the culture or the atmosphere while you're working can be really fun, but you have to have self-discipline that you're responsible for what you're doing, and then so you become a reliable partner, and then you advance yourself, and then you can achieve something great.
Okay, so in FunNow, we do expect our team members to have 3 core values, and also I think most of them already got it. So the first thing is we expect our team members to be direct. So in terms of being direct, it's like whatever you're thinking or whatever ideas you're having, just don't be afraid to speak out. You don't just follow what your managers tell you or what your boss tell you and you do whatever they say, but you can actually start practicing to think diversely and then have your own ideas and exchange it with your boss. That's the first thing. And also, if you are uncomfortable with, like the working environment, whatever your team members, as I just mentioned, if you don't like it, and we really appreciate if you can speak out, and then you can let us know what you're thinking instead of just suffering from it. And the second thing is be proactive, because we are a startup company and the pace is really fast every day in an everyday basis life. So if you are just sitting there and waiting for the orders and send this email, do this PowerPoint, then you're just it's not what we want. We want you to know what you are actually doing and doing in the proactive way, and then just update your status, to us, and then instead of just me asking you what's your status now. And then the last thing is we expect you to be a team player, because every project and campaigns we are doing as a group, not in one person. So if you're a good team player, that means you can communicate it well with your team members and without any just being very involved and integrated with your group members and to fulfill all the campaigns together.
Yeah, I think we really have 3 as well, and that's being driven and being curious. So in saying that, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, for me, when I got out of college, I could barely spell my own name, and now people are asking me to write, 25 years later, I'm considered a writer, which is still kind of weird to me. So make sure you're constantly driven to hone in on your weaknesses and not only just continue with your strengths. So but I always find the people that are really curious and driven will excel long run, to ask questions and then be transparent. To me, there's the more questions, the better. No one knows the answers to everything. I don't know the answers to everything. My boss doesn't know, our CEO. It is a constant learning process, especially in startup. So if you feel at your organization or anywhere you're at, do not be shy. Say I think we could do this better. It doesn't matter if you're an intern or a C-level employee. And then thirdly, I think it's also very important to our culture, and it's been the no asshole policy. Just don't be a jerk when you come to work. We all have bad days. Just be nice. This is actually a Harvard policy, no assholes is actually a thing, research it, it's very simple, but I think of all the values, that's probably to me the most important. Just come to work and really be respectful of your colleagues, to sharply point, like, just be collective. At the end of the day, like I said, these people are gonna be your second family, and just get along. Even if someone might annoy you, make the best of it, just, work with them.
Thank you. Just to summarize, all three speakers has, shared. Actually, working in a startup, people expect you to contribute your accounting skills, not just, listen to like all the tasks. So they are really looking for what you have to say, like what are your ideas, and being proactive. So I think that's one of the big difference between, how we corporate as or structured to startup, because every day is kind of a chance to innovate. So with innovation, that means like it hasn't been done before. So probably new talents will be the one to bring in these new ideas to the company. So this is something that most of the startups are doing. So for the next question that I want to ask is like, what do you think students in universities need to start doing now to become the talent that everyone wants? Maybe to start in again, and later on maybe.
Yeah, I think just really ripping off of what we just talked to, be driven, be curious, be open to learning new things. Don't get stuck in like, I want to be an engineer and I'm going to be the best engineer. Like, to be an engineer in a company, especially like Agnes' company, you also need to know all the other parts that are moving. And I think that is the best thing you can do, is really understand that 360 environment and know every little thing that kind of is moving at the higher level, and then obviously be an expertise in your area. I think that would be my number one.
Thank you.
Okay, so to companies, I think the most important thing is that, or like the traits we're expecting you to have, is that we encourage students to start cultivating the ability of thinking diversely. It's like from a small project to an overall campaign. Okay, let's say maybe you're good at marketing, right? But even though you are in this marketing position, you are making the decisions, you still have to think, what if it's the business development angle, or like the operation angle, or like engineer angle. So you have to think like diversity, to think, okay, so how to make all the campaigns overall is good, is going well, instead of just focusing on the single angle of your specialties. And also is that I feel it's now is the age of data and digitalization, right? So I would say every decision we are making now, as in FunNow, like what's our next step, is all data driven. So we'll actually look back at all the statistics, like how many clicks we have on this product, how many conversion we have last month, and the retention rate of our users is how, and the growth. So we will actually look into the figures and then make our next decision and our action. So we actually encouraging our team members to look into the figures and then tell us, okay, what do you see? Even though they are from marketing department, right? They don't really have anything, so what figures and stuff, but we are actually encouraging them to think from the numbers. And I think that's a very important skills that the students might have or start to practicing. Yeah.
Only proof, no more debate, just show me. Agnes?
I want to also elaborate the part of data-driven mindsets. That's very important in every startup right now. And also, I want to say something boring again, that embrace the dashboards. So even you are from a non-technical background like marketing or business development, you need to check the numbers. And for the college students or for job candidates, I always hear people saying about, okay, I'm interested in marketing role. And I ask them, like, what does that mean? And I think in a traditional way, when people talk about the marketing work, they usually talk about like brainstorming or maybe a little bit graphic design or something like a creative like material they're making, but it's not like that anymore. As Shelley mentioned, especially in FunNow, you need to have a way to follow, okay, so this is my piece of work, and how does it perform, and how do you prove it? Because it's subjective if we just argue, okay, this graphic design is good or not, but you can use number to prove that, like, okay, I've got like 10 more clicks or 10% more clicks in my work, so we should, I think there's a way for me to optimize, and I can use the numbers to help me to get a better performance later. So for students, I always encourage them, like if you haven't familiarized yourself with any analytical tool, maybe you can start with Google Analytics or any other kind of analytical tool that marketers are using. You can just check online, there's a lot of resources free, and I'm sure you will differentiate yourself in that perspective.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I come actually from a big ad agency background in the US, and I'm in my 40s, so like a dinosaur in the business. And I've done Super Bowl commercials, and it's cool and it's fun and it's brainstorming, but it's still at the end of the day, you have to make a profit. You're not just in the cool business to be cool. And so it's hugely important that you know those KPIs, those performance metrics, and how you're gonna hit them and understanding them. So as much as everyone thinks like, my family's like, oh, that's so cool, you're going on set. And I'm like, no, not really, I'm gonna be in a warehouse for like 2 weeks in the dark. But it really is knowing those numbers. It's not just that brainstorm, like, so I would definitely like say, not just with the startup community, but any business, and even in the creative field, your creative directors at the very, very highest level are still held to profit.
I think what we got from all three speakers is that still don't just stay in your comfort zone, even if you're just you're studying marketing or you're advertising or maybe academia. Always make sure that you also try to see and learn other cross-functional skills, because by doing so, you'll be able to see the bigger picture and you'll be closer to reality, what really works. And I think that's very, very important when it comes to startups, because you cannot, like, startups have limited resources. So usually, they cannot be just trying out stuff just for the sake of it. It needs to be like data-driven. So just it goes back to profit. So, yeah, to survive. So the next batch of questions will be more about job searching for your account. So what advice can you give international students looking for startup job openings in Taiwan, and how can you choose the right company? Is there any kind of like red flags that you need to kind of be aware of, in your opinion? You could have Nicole as an international.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's doing research. Listen, we all have access to Instagram, Facebook. I can find out most of your personal lives. So research, because I will say that I have personally made the mistake of not doing research going in and just knowing the personalities I'm gonna work with, and I think you can get a sense for that. But I'm also saying that don't think that you know the company and or the people you're gonna work with just from their, Insta. So make sure it's a balance. So do a lot of research on the actual people. What are their backgrounds? Where did they start? Were they an intern that was, an admin that all of a sudden that was a CEO? I think those are really important things. Then you're also, to the point that we've all talked about, going to understand the culture of the company. So I think those are really important. But research, and also I love when people ping me up on LinkedIn and just say, hey Nicole, like I like your background, can you answer this question? I recently just got into photography, and there's this, I'm super fangirled out by a female photographer, and she's awesome. And I just hit her up on a direct message. I was like, what lens are you using? I love your work. And she responded. So professionals and people that have been in the business a long time, we love to still give back. And for me, it's awesome. So just reach out. I mean, the worst that can happen is someone doesn't respond to you.
So basically, I think networking is still very
Yeah.
important. Networking, just reaching out to people when it comes to like something you're interested in. Don't be shy to kind of like put them on LinkedIn. So have your LinkedIn. Okay, so what else?
Actually, these questions remind me of the days when I was a fresh graduate from the uni when I was in Australia, and then I was eager to find a job in the local, like in Australia instead of just coming back to Taiwan. So back then, I actually attended a lot of like seminars or like the panel talks like this, and also I went to our Universities of International Affairs offices a lot, and I always like approach them like, okay, do you know any like expos, whatever, seminars, events I can join, so I can learn more like what's really going on in this city. And after I got some information, I'll start analyzing, okay, what company actually like suits me a lot. So I kind of like concluded in 2 points. The first point is that choose a company really excites you, like you really want to go office every day instead of you are just like doing a job, like, so then, there's a very cliche slogan like, what wakes you every morning is your dream, right? Not alarm. So, so find a company really excite you. And the second thing is like, know your value that you can really contribute to this company. So, and this actually echoes to the point like what makes you stand out, right? So when I was in Australia, I'm probably when I was actually applying for the local media agency, and they have a bunch of like Asian clients, so they really need some person can speak Mandarin really well to go to the pitch with them and all. So I had my background, I had my Mandarin ability, and also I think if you are really looking for the first job, then find a company can excite you and also know your values that you can contribute to the company. That what makes you stand out.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah, so my advice would be using the right platform, such as Ustreams. Yeah, because I'm serious, it can save you a lot of time. Like there's many job searching platforms in Taiwan, and each of them they have their own advantage and disadvantages. And for international students, there are certain platforms that where more recruiters they are expecting to embrace diversified backgrounds candidates. So checking appropriate platform would be a good start. And the second one would be like, for example, like when Charlene is looking for a job in Australia, and I'm sure you're using English to search job, right? But in Taiwan, like I think we are pretty open to international students who don't really speak the local language, which is the Mandarin I'm talking about. However, it'd be great if at least you are familiar with some of the conversational Mandarin, because that will help you to fit in better in your office environment. Because I would say, like even for us, most of the team members they can speak English, but for us, English is more like a professional language that you're using for work. And if you really want to fit in the whole environment, it would be great if you familiarize yourself with the local language so you can yeah, have more opportunities. I would say, like definitely.
Just probably because I'm actually a foreign national as well, but living in Taiwan, just to share. For my journey, I think I will have as well like 3 advice. One would be like finding work with your strengths, because usually the first jobs that I got in Taiwan actually is because I can speak English. So I usually find the job that require me to speak English. So whatever industry that you are in, you can have the first step into getting into that, and after that you can learn the different technical stuff once you're in the company. And second will be the same as Nicole, I think networking is very important. most of the opportunities that I kind of like got aware of is because of some friend telling me that, oh, there's an opening in this, maybe it's suitable for you, so I go to apply and get the job. So, and third, of course, being active, like what Charlene did in Australia, is to find, different events or the department that, can help you out. So for example, like us, like you Fox, when you find us, then you can just, in one time, you can get in touch with different companies and be more aware of their job opportunities at the studio. So, that's my personal advice. So for the next question is, I already asked about like how could they identify companies that's right for them. Let's turn it the other way around. It's like how do students be able to become more self-aware of suitable job for themselves? Is there any tips that you could have showing this time to you first?
To be self-aware, like if the job is suitable to them or not.
Yeah.
So there's one question I always ask the candidates that what's your sense of accomplishment come from? Like what you do will actually fulfill your sense of accomplishment. So if let's say if you are really good at whatever marketing, but maybe you are actually not really excited of doing it, you are just good at it. So to me, I feel like when I was looking for a new job, I was actually thinking, okay, this job actually is equal to my last response, like make me feel like, okay, if I do it, I feel very accomplished. I feel very like, okay, I have this sense of mission that I want to do it instead of just like finishing it. And also, I think it's all about like, if you really have a passion of it or not. Yeah, and that's why I joined FunNow because I feel I'm like a very toxic person, and I think sitting on this chair for 1 hour is like really hard for me already. Like, I always like walk around and I have to like explore like all the time. So when I see FunNow has this job vacancy as city launcher, by reading the name, I feel very excited already. And then I was like, okay, let me look into the job description. Oh, we are sending you to Southeast Asia. And then you go there to like open the office for us. Like from my friend, because I actually showed this to my friend as well. And my friend was like, oh my God, it looks really hard. Like it seems like you have to do all the hard job. You have to talk to the lawyer, talk to the accountant, you have to find the offices, everything, blah, blah, blah. So this thing actually, it doesn't excite them, but to me, I was like, nothing. They're sending me overseas. Come on, I can do all this. So yeah, so I think like to be self-aware, like if this job is suitable to you or not, just ask yourself like how you feel about it, like just reading the job description, like yeah, maybe. Yes.
I just have 2 cents that like if you don't feel excited about anything, it's fine. Like life is long, so you can always be open-minded. And so in that case, there are some job that so for example, we have an opening called management training. So where you're going to rotate in different departments or in different roles to explore your strengths and interests, and then where you can decide, and we will help you to decide like which career path is more suitable for you. Because I think both are important, like whether you're interested in that task and also you're good at that. Like both of them are important. So if you cannot decide like what's your true love at the moment, give yourself more time to explore.
Yeah, so I think I like a blend of both of what everyone said. So I need to have fun and not responsible. So I need a job that excites me that way, but also in saying that, like I can't sit still. So my job needs to constantly be challenging me. So in that same, also to Agnes' point, be open. So open to things that might not be in your comfort zone, like, did you ever like look for like a lawyer or an office before this job, Hannah? I think just be open. So I know what I'm good at, and I also know that like I'm probably good at stuff I don't even know I'm good at because I've even tried. So I would say it's definitely a combination of be excited, but also be super open because along the way you might find something that like,
And you will find your new talents.
yeah, you'll
If
definitely
you keep open-minded.
yeah, so I think it's like definitely a combination of a blend of that and also like just have fun. I mean, life is very short, promise to no one, like get out there and have fun and ask questions and talk to your peers and utilize the resources you have and be okay to make mistakes in your search. No one just knocks it out of the park. I mean, some people do. I mean, there were a few, but it's very far and few between. I think most of us have an idea of what our calling is and excites us, and then we really grow into it as we go because we're being open.
Yeah, I like to want to echo what Nicole said just now, like constantly challenge yourself, like find something that is challenging, so then you will act because you never know what you'll like bump into. So maybe you'll find a new thing that you're actually loving doing and stuff. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I can echo it. Actually, doing something that you're really, really good at, sometimes it's okay, but when it comes to the level that it doesn't challenge you anymore, then you really feel empty inside. So finding something that really challenges you and maybe you haven't tried before will keep you, moving forward and having fun now. And so another question I want to ask would be like, what was the most unforgettable, encounter you had with a job applicant? It could be, bad or good, any example that students can learn from?
I can go. I'm not going to give a bad example, but I will say for me, in my late 20s, maybe early 30s, I was applying for a job and in the creative and advertising, and you have your creative department, and then you have your client services, so the people that really manage the accounts. So they're very different personalities. The managers are very type A, get things done to the details, and the creators are like, so I kind of work between these groups on the account side. So I went for an interview, and the lead creative and the lead account person actually got into a very heated discussion while I was there, and it was like, and what I got from it was not that they were arguing, because that's every day. And at life, like those two departments are constantly going head to head for whatever reasons, but it was how they resolved it. Like at the end of my 3-hour interview with other people, they were like sitting in the office, like having a cocktail together, like all was good. So I think like, you might think there's a disastrous interview, but like take the positive out of there. Like that was a place that I actually wanted to work at after I left the interview. It was like, holy shit, what's going on here? Like I thought they were gonna go to blows at one point, but at the end I was like, wow, like they resolved it, and these two people got heated because they're so passionate and so driven, and that happens a lot in the workplace. So I think in those interviews, watch for those little things that are going on kind of in the background. And also, I always say this when you're interviewing, it's not a good or bad thing, and ask to interview with a lot of people in a lot of different departments, because I think you'll get a sense of what the company is. Like, if you're going into marketing, don't just meet with someone in marketing, meet with someone in engineering. And I haven't really had any horrible interviews, other myself and or with anyone else.
Was there any kind of tips for the students to kind of avoid or?
Yeah, like I said to you earlier, definitely do your research. Go know everything there is to know about that company, but don't walk into the company thinking you know everything about the company, because the reality is no one knows what's going on behind the four walls. And I actually usually ask that when I've done interviews. That's like kind of the go-to question, like, what can you tell me about your company that I can't learn online? and I think that's important. So one, all the stuff that we've been talking about is you can research the heck out of FunNow and any company out there, Coca-Cola, but you don't really know what's going on inside. So make sure you don't walk in with like all these preconceived notions of like, oh my God, I'm going to be working for, Facebook, and it's gonna be awesome because I know all these things, because that might not be the reality. So just be very aware.
Okay, so when I was in Malaysia, because FunNow sent me to Malaysia to compose a new team, and then I have this candidate that really impressed me, because like before you actually create an appointment with this candidate, you actually go through the resume, right? So they already print out like what they have done. But this candidate, when she entered the room, she was like, okay, I know you have read through my resume already, but I create this PowerPoint. I create this presentation, and it takes only 5 minutes long. But in this presentation, I can tell you what I do in this company, what I contributed to this company. And during the process, what role what I was in. I was a founder, I was a leader. So what technique I used to finish this campaign. So to me, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I really can get into know what you did in this company and what have you contributed, instead of just saying like, oh, I have stayed in this company for 2 years. Well, yeah, that's a really good experience. Yeah. Instead of like that, I actually get to know what you're really good at and what you have done. So I think during the interview, instead of just saying like where you have stayed before, but actually pointing out like what major campaigns, what major achievements you have done, what project you have assisted, and in this role, okay, in this project, what role you're in. So then maybe I can get to know, okay, as a team culture, you are actually a good leader, and you're actually a good follower, or you are like good at, observing your team members and giving support, or you are actually good at standing the stage and tell people, okay, this is our next step. So from your, explanation or like to me of what your past experiences is really impressive. Like from that interview, I was like, oh, yeah, this is how you can impress your, future boss, like just sharing detailing. Yeah.
So having that, small effort really makes a difference. Like nobody's really doing that, but you're the only one doing that, it really stand out from the
Yeah, and especially she made the slides, So she put all these animations going and like the pictures and stuff and the figures of like, okay, the growth numbers and stuff. So actually it really helped that for me to get into that zone. Yeah.
It's a storytelling.
Yeah, it's storytelling
Very
skills.
important.
Yeah.
What about Agnes?
Yeah, I think preparation is important, and in most of the time, I am impressed by the candidates where like they make a lot of research about our company, so I can really sense the passion from them. Like for example, some of them they register our platform and use our tool to make the video and showing us and tell us like what's the pros and cons using our tools, so which we are target audience, and maybe there is some improvement about it, and then we can work on this together. So that's where I think, okay, they already did a lot of preparation, so they're really into this. And also, it also shows that okay, they're good at research. So good at research also another important trait that I think most of the company value. And also, the attitude-wise, I think be genuine and honest is the best policy. So you don't need to hide your backgrounds. It will show in the long run when I talk about the attitude. Like if you are just more like outgoing person or more like an inner person, it's okay. Like people now they're looking for diversified background and diversified personalities. So, but don't pretend yourself to be like someone else, and otherwise you won't last long.
I was just gonna say too, please, I'm not stressed, this, follow up with a thank you, immediately, like, template it out and then add to like whatever the conversation, like, hey, I really enjoyed presenting my PowerPoint to you, blah, 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 blah. But make sure that thank you goes out immediately, like, if I don't really, quite frankly, if I interview someone and I don't get a thank you within like a few hours, that they could have been awesome in the interview, but they're not getting the job because I know they're not punctual, they're not driven, and they're not on top of it. My time is limited, everyone's time is limited, all of your time is limited as well. So those thank yous are huge, and also in a timely fashion. Because like I said, we had a really great candidate 2 weeks ago, and they didn't follow up with a thank you, and I was like, see you later, like, it was that easy for me.
Yeah, and I also want to add on some advices from what I just mentioned of the research part. So before we apply, or before we go to interview, definitely we'll go research the background or like, the features of this company, right? Or for example, FunNow app. The candidate walking out, I definitely ask he or she like, have you used FunNow before? If they say no, and I'll be like, why are you here? You never used FunNow before and you want to be part of our team members. So, that's the first thing, like use it before you actually go apply for the job. And the second thing is, okay, maybe you have used it and then you know the background of the company. What will impress us is that you can actually instead of telling me your user journey of the app, using the app, but I would more appreciate if you can tell me, oh, maybe there is some features, some part that can be improved. So that will actually impress me, oh, you are actually thinking for this app. You're actually thinking the future for this app, not just, or like the optimization of this app. So that's like from the personal thinking to the business level thinking already. So then I will know, like, okay, you have this mindset, so that would definitely impress me.
I think to Charlene's point too, that's super huge. Don't be scared. I think all of us could attest that if you have an ambition to say, hey, I think you could add this to the app to make your business better, that's like pretty astounding, and I know it's scary, but I would rather see someone say that than not. So I think, and to go back to all of our points, is be open. Like, the worst you can do is someone's gonna say no. And I would say 90% of the time, they're gonna listen to you and take your idea and build on it and say yes.
Thank you, speakers, for sharing. Actually, like, just, instead of just saying you're interested in working for the company, actually just show it through your actions. It's very, very important. And I think we will have the last two questions, and we're gonna open to everyone to just ask some questions. So, what are the most common mistakes you have observed that young people usually make in the workplace?
Yeah, not asking enough questions and being open. I think we keep going back to that theme, asking questions, being open, being authentic, and just being driven.
You see young people kind of like shy, so always miss out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm American, so we just love to hear ourselves talk. But in Asia, it's different. I know the culture here is like, do exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Don't like read outside the lines. But to me, especially in an international company, like, ask questions. And I tell my team every day, like, make big mistakes. Like, big mistakes, like, you're gonna learn from them, and how your company's gonna learn something too. So don't be scared to make mistakes. I think that's a growth. That's normal. I mean, all the time, but be aware that, like, it's okay to stumble and fall and pick up a little bit, and just ask questions and don't be shy. I tell my team every day, I come in, I'm like, does anyone have any questions? Like, ask me some questions. What are some questions? Like, especially to my Taiwanese employees, because I know that they're not used to that, and a lot of the corporations they work at, and now they're like, Nicole. So I think it's important to keep asking questions and don't be shy. It's none of us are like super outgoing. I'm not. I consider myself to be very introverted. Shocking enough. So don't be shy. Like, after you ask 10 or so questions and you get over it, it just comes natural.
Okay, so to me, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but I would say it's a common. Yeah, like I have a group. I have some members, right, and they are all in their like 20s, like young girls, and very energetic all the time. And when I assign them project, so they will be in charge of the project. They'll be a PO like of this project, right? So of course they will facing the third parties. They will have to talk to other partners, and they will have all these communications coming in there. And every time when they receive the message or when they receive the reply from the third party, they will also be like, "Hey, Charlie, how do I reply this? So what's our next step? What should I do? Like, how should I reply to them?" So I always ask them, if you were me, what would you say? If you were the boss, if you are like decision maker, what would you say? And they were like, I don't know. Let me think. They're just being shy to make decisions, or they're just being lazy to think. They thought their task is get things done, but I would be more appreciated if they can actually think they are part of it and they have this power to decide the next step instead of asking me what's my advice and then just type to them, oh, yeah, now. So I will encourage everyone to like, even though you think you are just like, you're not a decision maker, but imagine you are a decision maker. Before you ask your boss, well, I should reply to the third party or partners, tell your manager, tell your boss like, okay, this is my idea. Now, what would you think? Yeah.
So instead of asking directly, just bring in your idea first, and we'll see. Like, if
Yeah,
it's
maybe your
right.
idea is better than your boss. You never know.
Yeah, so echo on the previous discussion, I think self-independently and always have your own idea first before you seek for help. I think it's pretty important when it comes to teamwork. And it's even work quite well in even like you're joining an engineering team. Because as an engineer, like as a junior engineer, so sometimes we feel there is a gap, like what students learn from school is a little bit different from what we really need to apply in our applications. So in that case, like when you are asking questions with your senior members, you better have some of the sauce, like telling them, okay, so I have some difficulty, I'm stuck here right now, but I have two directions that I may want to try. And could you please tell me whether it's a reasonable or is there anything like I can work on to figure out which is the more accurate direction? So that would be better, like rather than just simply ask your supervisor, okay, what will be the answer? And then there will be no value for you to create because you're basically just pass the message. And then like because everything's so convenient right now, why bother to hire someone who can just pass the message, right? Right, like come on, this is a time where like technology is evolving, like AI and crypto and everything crazy is happening. So create your own value and make sure it is safe.
Yeah, to those 2 points, I sometimes tell my interns if they ask not a dumb question, but a basic question, like something like I didn't grow up with Google. I was just coming on. I had to truck across the library and find stuff. I always say, go try to find that answer, and if you still don't find the answer in 30 minutes, come back and we'll solve it together. So to echo to their point, like ask questions that you really don't know, but also like to your point with email, like what should I respond? Like write the email and say, hey, Nicole, like I got this email, it's kind of challenging, this is what I'm gonna send, what do you think about it?
Exactly. So I feel like most of the startups are they're looking for people with ideas, and they actually want you to take up space. Don't be afraid to have voice out your opinion. Just you need to be taking up space in the company, right? So yeah. So for the last question will be more about the internship opportunities that you guys are offering to international students. So what are the intern opportunities that are available in your company right now? When will you start recruiting and how long will be the duration of that? Charlene, I guess?
Can I go first? Can I have a question like, any of you from Hong Kong or Japan or Malaysia? Yay, we have a few candidates. So we are definitely looking for international students from these regions because we also have operating offices in these countries. So we definitely need a person in Taiwan that can handle the local business, but then you located in headquarters. And in terms of the departments, we are looking for the marketing interns, operation interns, BD interns. We have like, how many, like 14 openings, because we are expanding. And as I mentioned, we are going to Bangkok as well. So we are welcoming interns to join us. We will kick off the application time in May, and the duration will start in June to the end of the year. So you'll be around half year to 1 year, depends on which departments you're applying. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we constantly have internship vacancies, and for engineer team, we have we're looking for AI interns, and also front-end and back-end intern as well. And for non-technical roles that we're looking for business development interns as well as operation intern, and that can be from every country because we are also expanding and looking for adding new languages to our algorithms. So right now we support 7 languages and including Vietnamese and Bahasa, Indonesian, but we also want to add Thai or even like Russian or any other European languages as well. So, sorry, I just want to add, we require any intern joining us need to commit at least over 6 months, which is half year to 1 year. And also, the reason is that we think that for both parties that benefit the most, that's where you really learn something, and we can, I think we can also offer you a great learning experience through the journey.
Yes, so we are also international, so the same markets come over to us, CreatorDB, just kidding. And also really, we're expanding globally, so we, like I said, we're in APAC and Europe and the US, so really looking for diverse backgrounds. Just got a huge client in Australia, so if you're Australian, I would love that. Hit me up. And then as far as roles, we have definitely engineering, we have business development, we have client services, which is like the really greater outreach. And then also if there's anybody that's addicted to TikTok or live streaming, I'm really just looking for someone that is coming into our office and just keeping a pulse on what's going on in that. And because we're growing in the TikTok space and live streaming. So if you're spending 8 hours a day on TikTok or live streaming, there's probably a place for you at our office. And we're pretty flexible with our internship program. Like, we'd love you to stay for 3 to 6 months. But if you can only do 1 day a week for a year, I think we're a little bit more flexible in terms of like, hey, what can you offer us? What can you do? Also looking for designers and creative people that, want to do social media, like run our social media channels and help with those. So kind of really the whole gamut. And like I said, if you speak a second language or you're bilingual, trilingual, quadlingual, our office, like I said, is really international to everyone here. And that is a big asset to us too. The cultural nuances that you know from your home countries and your native languages are really important.
Thank you. Thank you to our speakers for their sharing today.